Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mitch's Mega Minute. It's the show where we talk like 3 days after the Game Awards have happened. The Game Awards happen. Uh,
Strike him whilst the iron's hot.
I know that cold refrigerated steel.
Yeah, it is the best time to strike it.
Yeah, it's right. It's almost like maybe I shouldn't do a podcast on Sundays where no news happens. Maybe I should change the day of the cast. But no, welcome on up today's episode. We've got like a few subjects for you tonight. But I'm actually joined with Amanda and Nate tonight. And we're
Hey.
and why don't we go ahead and get into some quick channel news as always. So guys, channel news this week. You guys are getting kind of the same as usual with Pokemon coming out on Tuesday. Persona, okay, just to solve some confusion, Persona is this Thursday, and that will be the last Persona of the year. Because guaranteed, I will not be making it next week. I'm going home for the holidays.
Yay!
So I'm not gonna be here. I can't be here. So there's no this Thursday's last Persona.
Of the year.
Of the year.
Of the year.
Of the
Year.
year. With Pokemon ending probably either I think you could probably get it done Tuesday. If not, we'll do it Friday too. But we do have some plans to kind of continue the Tuesday Friday stuff. And starting this week, we're gonna try. I'm sorry about this last couple weeks. We just haven't been kind of fumbling the ball on video uploads outside of the highlights. So once everything's kind of situated again, post December, because December is just a fuck fest. Everyone kind of going to different places with like stuff coming up with the holidays in general. We're just having a hard time recording. So we have some stuff on a back burner from all the way back when we were during our hiatus, and I'm gonna upload some of those videos hopefully throughout this week.
Yee.
So once the thumbnail stuff is done with that, it'll be all good to go, and we will be hopefully rocking with you, giving you guys at least something extra than the streams, because I know some of you guys aren't even interested in like what we're doing right now, and you're waiting for us to do the next thing. There's a lot of like show ideas I want to do like in the next year, and I want to go over them on the not next week's Mitch's Minute, but the 29th. I kind of want to talk to you guys about some video ideas and some changes that are happening to the show, because we are going to start making some changes to how we do this and how we do the show. Save Point City Season 1, quote unquote, is coming to an end. This was all kind of an experiment to see how the new format would do us, and I kind of want to take a step back, look at what the positives, the negatives, what kind of worked, what kind of didn't work, and kind of go from there. During that time, we might take another small break, not like the last break where we took a few months off, but probably something smaller, like a week or two, to kind of reacclimate everything and make sure we actually have enough footage and everything to survive. But yeah, so that's just kind of what's going on our end. Now let's go ahead and get into the big chunky bit of news that you all came here for, which is the Game Awards.
Yeah.
That's right. So this completely caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting the Game Awards to happen like the same.
I totally forgot about them.
Yeah, I was so ready. I was so like I was trying to get Persona all set up that I completely forgot about the fact that we would be competing with the Game Awards that night. And a lot of people like so what happened was, after the stream ended, I immediately went and caught the last half of the Game Awards. And it was real. I don't know. I heard a lot of people were talking about how it was pretty shit. But I actually really liked the Game Awards this year, and maybe it's because of my bias towards Green Day. But I genuinely,
My strong bias for Green Day.
I mean, maybe it is, but I don't know. I guess it's just kind of nice. I don't know. I know a lot of people like were upset. Like I could tell. I've talked about it like at least 3 different times now about how the Smash players really were hoping to get something out of this, and then they were all moaning when they didn't get anything that they weren't promised or guaranteed. So I don't know. I don't know why I don't know why that's like a thing. Nintendo said that they had some big announcements, and then everyone thought it was going to be Smash. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here with Bravely Default 2. I'm like, yeah! It's like that scene in fucking School of Rock where it's like, and the winner is no vacancy! And everyone like looks confused, and then there's that one guy in the crowd like, yeah, no vacancy! I'm that guy.
That's Mitch. That's him right there.
Bravely Default 2!
Woo! Oh my god.
Like, everything they announced for Nintendo was awesome. Like, yeah!
I mean, aren't Nintendo doing like their own fucking thing here in like a day or two?
Yeah. In fact, what's funny is I could have sworn that there was a tweet, which is why I was worried about this episode of the podcast, because I think Sakurai was supposed to do the last Smash thing. I thought that was today, the 15th. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's like January 15th. Maybe it's like...
Now, is it the last Smash thing for this game, for this year, forever?
Well, I don't know. It was left pretty vague. It's some people said it was going to be the final one, because, to be fair, Smash has been out for like a year now. And it came out sometime last year in November. Because
are we releasing the genie that is Sakurai?
Maybe.
Are we finally releasing him from his Smash prison?
No, because we'll let him. It's not really release. We let him free with a little electric collar, and then like when the next Nintendo console comes out, everyone's like, Smash, Smash, Smash.
Smash.
Every time you hear someone say Smash, that's when the electric collar goes off. There's actually no remote for it.
Yeah, and then they carry like you see like what happens is you're just minding your own business. Like you have like a doctor's visit, and you're like in the waiting room, and then you see Sakurai like trying to run out of the room, and then you see a dart get like they shoot Sakurai, and Sakurai's being carried back, and he's like, no, I just want to go to the island. I just want to go to the island. No!
I just want to work on something else.
Yeah, great. That's right, Mitchell. Great island reference, starring Ewan McGregor and fucking fuck. I can't remember. It's been so fucking long. Oh, what a horrible movie.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. But anyways,
can I just say how proud I am of the Game Awards? That Blizzard didn't get shit.
Damn right. If anything, that's a victory for all of us.
Eat a dick, Blizzard.
That's right,
because they especially did not win the esports fucking tournament of the year.
Maybe it's because no one watched it.
That, and they weren't even a nominee. Which is fucking crazy.
Oh my god. Do you
not a single one.
I mean,
of their shit.
Not to mention, now you have that whole thing with like, because was it like fucking Blizzard sat there and sucked China's dick, and then they kept looking back at us like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, trying to apologize with the dick in their mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you trying to do? You're not helping.
Yeah, no. What happens is he turns his head slightly, but the dick's still in it, and he's just like looking at us. And they just.
It's like, you can't give us pity eyes. That ain't gonna make it any better. You're still sucking their dick.
You're still sucking China's dick. And then China then like takes his dick out and smacks Blizzard and starts kicking him because fucking, did you guys hear that like literally a couple weeks after, like Blizzard sat there and like didn't actually apologize, but apparently what happened was is that China is enforcing a new rule where kids have a curfew, or they have a set limit, not only a curfew, but a set limit of hours that they can play online games, which is Blizzard's entire fucking deal. So that fresh market that they were hoping to get into is getting super limited.
Also, they bring up a good point in the chat. Did Blizzard even do anything this year? And I want to say, didn't they release the classic version of WoW?
Yes, in fact, for a lot of people, WoW Classic was their game of the year, which is weird. But yeah, WoW Classic was supposed to be the big money grabber for them, and they were. if I had to take a wild gander, I'd say that they were hoping to grab that one too, and they did. So, good on you, Blizz boy.
Yeah, it didn't even end up being like a nominee. Only Overwatch was a nominee for like those types of games where you can brawl other fucking players. And it didn't fucking win. It lost out to League of Legends.
I know that it's pity and it's not pity. I know it's like shitty that I'm still like, man, I really hope like people are starting to back down from Overwatch, because I think my problem is that after BlizzCon, like, you could see the back down happen. Like, it just, I don't know. The boycott for me is still stands strong, even though I still want to like play Overwatch 2, or I'll have the inkling to like want to play it. I can't do it because the boycott still stands strong. So
I deleted all my Blizzard games just off my PC. I'm like, cool, look at all this free space I have on my computer now. It's like, nice.
No, it's done. Like, for me, like, until they do something that's like crazy,
an actual apology.
Well, they're not going to do that. They're not going to actually apologize.
Exactly. No,
because
they're going to actually apologize.
They gave the fake one, and I'm sure as part of a company memo, even though a good portion of them don't agree with it, they have to fucking follow suit. Because if they say what if they fight against the boss, they'll lose their fucking jobs. So that's, I mean, it's just like China. No,
that's real.
That is real. So, anyways, the Game Awards were fucking great. To me, I thought they were great. I come from mind you, the last time I watched the Game Awards was quite some time ago, and back then I remember it being kind of a shit show, but this one seemed really good. Green Day was awesome. Fucking the like, it felt like everything was just like, I didn't sit there and was like, oh no, this game should have won, because I'm like, I get it. The fact that Sekiro won Game of the Year, like, and people are like, what about Smash, or what about this, or what about that? It's like, I might not have played Sekiro, but I heard nothing but good shit about Sekiro. Smash is a good game if you have friends to play it with.
Oh yeah.
For like, Smash is a good game. Like, if like it's a great, like, it's that fighting game level, right? Where it's like, fighting games is like, it's really fun to play as long as you have someone to fight against, as long as you're playing online, because the story mode can only offer so many challenges, and even then, it's not a real story mode. It's just an arcade, and that's why, like, fighting games, when they have the console releases, they include story modes for, like, longer play times, or not longer play times, but yeah, exactly. Because that's what BlazBlue does. BlazBlue creates an entire fucking visual novel-esque situation, so that all of, for their fucking fighting games. There's an arcade mode, absolutely, and it's just a translated version of the one from the Japan arcade cabinets. But there's a story mode that tells you all the details. It has all the character interactions and stuff like that. And
it's cool.
Oh yeah, BlazBlue is one of my favorite games of all time. I literally
Did you play the cross tag battle one out of curiosity?
Yeah, yes, Nate, because we played it on stream together.
No, I mean like the story mode for it.
No, I didn't actually do that one.
It's kind of stupid, but it was just fun. It was
damn.
Because it had to explain why all of these characters are together, basically. So
I do miss...
It's just all the characters being confused, like, I have no idea how the fuck I got here.
Is there an actual reason? Like, do they ever explain what happened?
There technically is, in a weird way. I think I, like, explained it once forever ago when Sora and I had to stream because you were, like, out of town, and so we just played cross tag battle. But no, it's like this weird, just, like, I don't even know what it is. It's just like, oh no, I just wanted all these characters together because I just thought it'd be cool. And then you have to fight it because it's like, I want to get back to my own dimension. Thank you.
Did you ever play a game called Capcom versus SNK 2?
No, but I think I've probably seen it around, knowing me.
So it is, to me, it's like one of the most classic fighting games that ever existed, right? You take the best characters from Capcom, best characters from SNK. This must have been Mark of the Millennium. And one of the things that I really, really, really liked about that game was it's something that I wish more crossover stuff did. Where they make an OC that is based off of the lore of both properties. So,
like a weird combination of the two.
Yeah. So in the Mark of the Millennium, they created a Akuma and Rugal, were like the two big bosses of the two big bads, and you get to fight boss versions of once you beat the game, you get to fight boss versions of them that one will always absorb the other's energy. so Akuma will absorb I feel like I'm getting the name wrong, but he'll absorb Rugal's energy, and then Rugal will absorb Akuma's energy, and then you fight that version, and they have each other's moves. So
oh, cool.
So the thing where Akuma comes at you with his knee up, and you can't hit him because of his frames, or because he can go past you. Rugal can do that too. So there's once again, sorry if I'm fucking up the name. I feel like I'm fucking it up, but
anyways,
yeah, I love that gimmick where it's just you have a mix and match character. Because I always thought it'd be neat or interesting to be all right, so there's Yu Narukami, but then there's also Yu Narukami with I don't know, a ruby weapon or some dumb shit like that, or there's alternate universe versions, and
that'd be really funny to see.
Yeah, because
I'm sorry, I keep thinking about Insane Oddball's fucking comment of Gangle bends reality to help Kirby defeat God.
That's right.
Yeah, no, because I kept that bit in for the Pokemon highlights of him breaking the dimensions. That's just right. To give a Polypile a high five.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. That's so canon.
Funny.
Yeah, dude.
It is canon. It's in our canon.
That's right. That's called narrative building. No, so that's the thing though. So I actually have all 4 Blaze Blues, all the versions of them on my computer. And one of the things I wanted to do next year was to play them with you guys, and kind of explain why I like the story. Why I think Blaze Blue started off really, really strong because it did something that not a lot of fighting games did, which was, hey, every single route is its own technical reality. So every story mode you play in the arcade is its own timeline, and there's this thing in the arcade where it's just why do we keep repeating the same shit? What is happening? Why can't we move on from this point? And it's kind of a fun reference to the fact that in arcade games, or in with Street Fighter and with some of the other stuff, you'd beat the arcade, they'd have their little story ending, but then in the next game it didn't happen, so there is this, and I don't know, I feel like Blaze Blue is that really solid ground, and I haven't touched the original Calamity Trigger or Continuum Shift in years. I absolutely love Blaze Blue, but I haven't touched the originals in so long, and I not having any of my mains, mind you, is gonna be really weird to kind of go into. But I know how to play each of those characters well enough. I feel that I could do a full LP.
Speaking of which, I know it's none of your mains, but Cross Tag did another character drop again. I can't remember who was in it.
Oh, I know exactly who's in it. Fucking. You don't need to tell me. I know. I know it. Oh, you don't think I know?
Oh, I know.
Oh, it was back in what is it? It's Elizabeth. It's fuck. I know that it's fuck it, I'll just look it up real quick.
Yeah, it's like I said, I can't remember on the top of my head of who it was. I just because I'm oh cool. So I because most of the new characters have been free, they've just been adding them to it for free. Mm-hmm. And then I'm oh, I have to actually pay for this one. Fuck.
They have. I actually.
Oh, are you talking about the one that came out in November?
Yeah, the ones that just came out recently.
Yeah, it's Akatsuki. Fuck. it's
Fuck.
damn.
But I thought you knew.
I don't. So that's the thing. I can look at them. I see them. That's someone from Seren Kagura. Who the fuck are the others?
Uh,
I like that you're like, I can see it in my mind's eye. I just.
I know their
name
faces.
is not there.
Yeah. God damn.
It's like, what it was like. I'm trying to remember like the characters I was like in the previous drop because it was like Teddy, like Seth, and like 2 other characters that I just can't remember at the top of my head right now.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know. Blaze Blue is just fun.
You know, it's
like,
it's amazing. That game is so goddamn solid. Oh god.
I mean, can I just say that I think that it's a good thing that League won the fucking like esports events?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they treat their fucking players really well.
Yeah.
I don't think I know many other like esport events where they fucking take the time to fucking make animated music fucking videos for their players.
All right, I got the list real quick.
There you go. But no, like I super get it, Amanda. Like before I got into League, like my brother would watch the esports championships, and I used to watch them with him, and he'd show me the videos, and I'm just like, is these videos of the fucking players? Like, did they put the effort in to animate this shit? It's like, yeah,
Dude, they fucking recorded music and animated them, and they do it like every fucking year for their fucking players.
oh yeah,
It's fucking
phenomenal.
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other esport that takes the time to actually be like, hey, we really like you. We're gonna fucking make you your own character
Well,
and fucking animate you.
How long have they been doing like esport? Like, how long has League been doing esports for? Is like the question though.
Oh, I have
But-
no idea. Like years though.
10, right?
Yeah,
You'd assume
Yeah,
it'd be 10 for every year that it's been out.
Yeah.
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 It's either
Yeah.
10 or just about 10. But either way, fucking how amazing.
Mm.
Because they fucking animate them as their mains, usually.
Yeah, it's just super cool.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
53 characters in this fucking game. I'm sorry. How are there 53 characters, but the game put Carl goddamn Clover in? I know why. I'm just a bitter bitch about it. Fucking.
You're just bitter because your mains aren't in it.
Dude, it'd be one thing. It'd be one thing if it was like, because I can understand Carl, right? I get Carl and I get Relius. I understand that. I'm still not happy about it because they're characters who exist in the main like
Carl Weezer, goddamn aggressive.
like I like the fact that like the game exists, don't get me wrong, but it's just every character they add are like mainly characters from the newer games. So like for example, Blaze Blue is getting Celica A Mercury and Susanoo, who are 2 characters. One's from Continuum Shift Extend. No. Fuck, what is it? Central Fiction. No.
One of the newer ones.
Yeah, what? God damn it. All the names are just nonsense. But, like, okay, so there's... Okay,
They're in your brain and they're just all fucking jumbled together. Like
it's
you have,
Chrono
like,
Phantasma!
there you go.
Yeah.
No, it's like you've just stuffed like all of your Blaze Blue shit into one box, so you're just like fucking ciphering through it of like,
Yeah.
which name is it?
That's right. Okay, because that's the thing, right? They're all C's. So, Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger,
Yeah.
Blaze Blue Continuum Shift, Blaze Blue
Right.
Chrono Phantasma, and then Blaze Blue Central Fiction.
Which, by the way, Blaze Blue just the most anime they could fucking be, and it's amazing.
So, okay.
like every single time.
So Seren Kagura's Estival versus we got Yumi. That's who that is. We got Akatsuki, Blitzkampf, and just regular Akatsuki, and then Blitztank. No, sorry. I guess they don't. I don't know. It's a weird distinction. I remember Akatsuki from Under Night and Birth. I guess he's a guest character. So that's on me. I don't know that much about Akatsuki, I guess. We have Blaze Blue, Celica A Mercury, Susanoo. We got Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Adachi, and Elizabeth. I think at this point, almost every single fucker from the P4 Arena games is in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, do they have Labras?
I think so. I think they have
Holy shit! Why the fuck
Oh,
would they have
they
Labras?
do.
Yeah.
They do.
And then on Under Night and Birth, they put Hilda in, but I'm pretty sure they're either there or they've gotten to the point where every Under Night and Birth character is in there, except maybe like there's no one I can think of at the very top of my head that like isn't in it yet, like, unless it's from like one of the other games, like EXT or something like that.
See, I just find it funny that like I got Cross Tag Battle as I haven't played like I only played like a little bit of Blaze Blue, and I only knew some of the Persona 4 characters, even though I haven't played Persona 4. It's like so I got this game with all these characters in it. I'm just like, they're just cool, and you're just like, wow, you're playing him. What a piece of shit. And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Insane Oddball, you know why Dorkun's not there. Do you think he's even in Arena? They're not gonna make a whole new goddamn sprite for someone who's not in a previous P game.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing though.
You know what's funny? I actually did have Cross Tag Battle on my list of things I wanted to talk about today. But we just gotta get through. I want to talk about the trend in fighting games, but I want to also cover the Game Awards. So we gotta kind of
let's finish off the Game Awards. My bad for going on the tangent.
No, you're fine. So the ultimate thing with the Game Awards, I would say, is this. I know why some people are upset, but I also I actually get it. There's a part of me that just doesn't understand because they're Game Awards. Everyone has their own opinion. This is just I don't even know how they fucking determine who wins. Like, is there, like, a panel of judges or something that, like, just determines this and that they're, like, is this, like, a company thing?
From what I've seen from their thing, people can vote for them.
Okay, so this is the People Choice Awards of video games?
Yes, essentially.
Alright.
Yeah, I know.
I guess
I don't know if it's like the People's Choice and then like a panel of oh, it's a mix. Yeah, okay. So they have a jury and it's public vote.
Okay.
All right.
Well, then I mean, I don't know. It's that thing where it's like, I feel like if a game wins an award, that's great. That's awesome. Most of the games that I super love are not games that won awards. I've been playing a lot of Ultimate Ninja lately just because it's something really easy and it's something we're gonna once again talk about when we get to Cross Tag Battle and all that stuff.
Just fighting games in general.
Yeah. But you know, I also played a lot of Rebel Galaxy lately because it's something that's on my PS4 and it's something I can just grind out. You know, some of my favorite games that ever existed are games in which they're good. They're great, and if they won awards, yeah, sure. But they're not something that I feel like winning or not winning an award doesn't lessen the value that I still got out of that game. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I feel like all to most games in a certain way, it's like are deserving of something, but it's like it depends on the person. This is the problem with video games. It's like everyone has a different opinion on different things.
I mean, you could argue the same thing with movies, right? I mean, some of my favorite movies, once again, movies that might not necessarily have won a lot of awards. I showed you guys one of my favorite movies the other night, The Man of La Mancha, and that movie was panned horribly. For pretty valid reason, actually. But, another one of my favorite movies, fucking The Disaster Artist. And while it won some awards,
it did.
For like,
it did win awards.
I know it's good. It's a good movie.
I think some of the things are reasonable to judge on. Definitely, some of them, like I think they had one category that was like, oh, most impactful game. Obviously, that varies, but I want to say stuff like the esports definitely could be sort of like determined. It's like, okay, well, first off, how did they treat the players? How did they treat the viewers? Did they ban and remove the awards for someone who spoke 2 sentences?
What's the production value of it? Is it entertaining to watch?
Yeah, is it entertaining to watch? Like, so ones like that, definitely you could have like an objective sort of opinion on it, and you're like, okay, well, this one was fun to watch. It had a high production value. or you can have ones where it's like, oh, this is really boring. The commentators weren't that impressive. So, I mean, ones like that, I want to say definitely. But when it comes to the actual video games and stuff, I want to say that gets harder and harder. Like, how can you decide what's the most impactful game of the year?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
What was it actually?
Yeah, what was the most impactful game of the year?
Yeah, let me just scroll up a little bit. That's community audio. Fuck, where is it? Where is it?
Control F.
Control F.
You know, because like most impactful game, it's like, what is that like? I know this is like a dumb question, but what does that like exactly mean?
It is Gris.
I heard about Chris. I didn't. Huh. Okay. Is it? Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, sure.
I mean,
Don't autoplay videos. God damn it! You can't ever go into like some. I hate like when you just go into a website and it's like, oh, you like YouTube, right? Just fucking go. Ugh.
but yeah. So the most impactful game of the year is Gris, but I don't know what the fuck Gris is.
No, nor do I.
It's an artsy game. I keep seeing on my Switch store. I must have been great.
I'd say it must have been great if it was the most impactful game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm assuming so.
There is one that I saw that I would have never heard about if I didn't watch the Game Awards, which was Disco Asylum. I have never heard of that game before, and like watching some gameplay footage of it, it looks awesome.
So I guess Gris is an indie game, which might be why we haven't heard of it. The art is beautiful.
Yeah, like I said, it's an artsy game.
That, I guess it's a platform adventure game too. Which is definitely interesting. And it's only been out since like August.
God damn. All right.
Well, out for like max release since August.
I can't believe Fortnite beat Final Fantasy 14, but I can also super see it. You know what I mean?
It's like, I get it.
I don't agree.
I
I
understand it though. Like 14 is great in its own thing, but like when you're putting the two games against one another, it's like more people play Fortnite. For like as much as I love 14, it's one of those games where it almost doesn't feel fair to put them against each other because they're not even remotely the same game.
God no. Yeah, Fortnite's a lot easier to play, and it's a battle royale game when Final Fantasy 14 is not that.
Also, how can Gris be the game of the year and not the top rated like independent game?
Because I don't know. Maybe there are some issues with these with these categories.
This is what happens when you look like into it for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, because I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute. Can you say that this is the most impactful game of the year?
Maybe when they think about impact, they're thinking about. I mean, it has to be a completely different.
Its message in it, maybe.
Yeah. Because like, what is it? What won indie game of the year? Was it Disco Asylum?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you look, both of them are under the same category, right? But then like Disco Asylum isn't in games for impact. Whatever the fuck impact means. Like,
like that's what I was like asking. I'm like, I don't really know 100% what it means by like the most impactful game.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's like some kind of like it's meaningful because look who else is underneath that. Life is Strange 2.
Yeah.
I also like Life is Strange 2. It's also impactful.
In a way.
That's right.
In a way.
It definitely gave me enough fucking fodder
It says games for impact for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
could see it. Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, it does just mean like how it makes you feel if it's thought-provoking or not, but I guess that doesn't mean it's a good game. Is that what that's supposed to mean?
It's like it doesn't have to be a good game, but if it's like points its message out pretty apparent and people are affected by it, then yeah, it's doing a good job, I guess, to be the most impactful game.
I
I
also,
guess.
I think Killing Floor has a really impactful message. Does that mean I could nominate it for games with impact?
I don't know. I think Pokemon Sword and Shield has a pretty impactful message.
That's right.
Also,
Like,
I think there's all something we can learn from Call
maybe
of
the
Duty.
gameplay wasn't that good, but like apparently the Untitled Goose Game was a nominee for the fucking top independent, but not this game.
oh my god. Untitled Goose Game.
That must feel real good.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, so
Like,
there's independent game and then there's fresh independent game,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So, like,
feel
for
like this
example,
is the
Katana
problem,
Zero
though.
is in there. And Katana Zero, I think, was made by, the guys who did Hotline Miami, I think. I think that's those guys. I gotta look it up now because I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, this is the problem. It's just like we're just doing a copious amount of searching.
That's right. Well, there's just, I don't know, there's just so much fucking information. It's, no, actually, it was, the publisher was Devolver Digital. The developer was, Akisoft. Devolver Digital being the same guys who, yep, it was Hotline Miami. All right, so they're so so they're the publisher.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think we
it's
all
just
learned.
like
Go ahead.
we're just like, oh no, it's just like we're looking at all these. It's like, oh yeah, a lot of games actually came out this year. It's just that none that we were interested in.
That is the best and worst way to put that, because I feel like it just sucks. It just sucks because it's like, oh, there's so many games that come out, but then there's nothing that, like, it's almost like because there's so many, like, we had, like, it's such a specific itch. I feel like it has to scratch, you know, like
Yeah, it's like that looks cool, but not necessarily something I'm interested in, which is the case for like a lot of games for me this year. Like, when just Pokemon was announced, which was like what, the beginning of this year, like end of last year or some shit.
No,
I
it was
can't
the
even
beginning of
remember.
this year. It was all in
Yeah, beginning of this year.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I haven't really been hyped for anything else this year because I'm like nothing has really piqued my interest.
Well, honestly, it just, what was it? We tried Life is Strange 2. I was excited for that one, and then like we tried it out, and I'm like, well, just wait for it to finish up, and it literally finished up like a couple, like last week. I think was like the last episode was released. It was a full like year and like couple month adventure, and a lot of people really liked it, but I'm still like on that fence of like, do we go back? Do we do that?
Back?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I seen some like gifs and stuff of it because it's the internet and you can't really hide away from shit.
Avoid.
Yeah. It doesn't look bad. This is coming from someone that hasn't played the first Life is Strange. So
it's definitely like one of those, I don't know. It's hard to explain. But like the original Life is Strange, I think, was just perfect. It's this like little contained game, and it proposed a lot of questions. Some of the episodes aren't 100% great, but I like, you know, it's one of those games where it's like, I'm happy it came out. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I always try to show people who are into that kind of stuff to like be like, hey, check this game out. It's in its own little time capsule. But like there was enough, like, how do I word this? Talk about a game of impact, like playing that game and like being like flooded with emotions and like being actually enraptured into that story. Like that is a solid. Like I wouldn't say it's the best game I've ever played, but it's definitely one of the most like narrative driven like experiences I've had, you know?
Yeah. So, okay. I am curious, and this might be controversial, but not in the normal way. How do you feel about the nominees for the fighting category?
Oh, I know.
Now you know why it's controversial.
All right.
It's just like,
So I mean, that's the thing. To me, there wasn't like a lot of big games that came out. So like, while Jump Force is something that I always thought about picking up as a gimmick, that's not something I would necessarily call like a legitimate fighting game. And I know that there's people out there who's gonna fight me on that, but like, I don't. To me, when like Smash or like Smash, when Jump Stars Victory Plus or whatever, the one that came out on the PS3, PS4 a couple years back came out, I picked up a copy from Japan. That's how like fucking intense it was. I spent like $100 to pick up a copy from Japan, and the game wasn't necessarily the greatest fighting game I ever played, but it had Suna from Katsukyo Hitman Reborn, and that show might be dead, but like to me, like Suna's like always gonna be one of my favorite characters. It's Hitman Reborn's always gonna be one of my favorite shows. Like, you know, and I wanted to play Suna. We didn't what is it? Katsukyo had a bunch of fighting games on the PS, like there were a bunch. There were 2 fighting games on the PSP, and then like a couple on the DS. And for the 200 episode anime that didn't even cover its final arc of the manga, which I mean I get it, it's great. Reborn's awesome. But like the fact that I see Jump Force on there, I'm like, I will admit, I'm like, maybe I should pick it up. Like maybe I should pick up Jump Force.
I'm just like scrolling through images, and I'm just like, wait, they put this character in it? What the fuck? They
One
put
of-
this one in?
Yeah, no.
Why is there Yu-Gi-Oh characters in there?
Dude, I think was it Kaiba's like a DLC character now?
He is.
Yeah.
Straight up a DLC character.
So
I'm
like,
just curious about the name attached to fucking Jump Force. Fucking Spike Chunsoft.
really?
Yeah. Spike Chunsoft. And Nate, that's the people who made Danganronpa. Just for your own reference.
Did they make were they the ones who made the previous one? I hate the fact that I can't remember the last one. It's like Jump All Stars Victory Jump Star Victory Versus. That was Bandai Namco. Nope, it was still Spike Chunsoft. All right, so they made both of them.
I just had no idea that they had any fucking thing to do with games like that. For me, they've always been attached to like shit like Danganronpa and fucking other games like that, you know?
Let's see here. They have, so these are all Jump characters, mind you, right? So they do have Izuku. They've got Midoriya. They got that Midoriya boy in there. They've got like Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, Gaara, and the Kaguya, the final villain of Naruto. Okay. And they have Madara as like DLC. In One Piece, they've got Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Sabo, Hancock, Blackbeard, and Trafalgar Law's DLC coming. They've got Boruto in here. All right.
No.
That's the thing, though. So I hate saying it like this, but I noticed a couple names on here that I like. I hate saying it, but they were kind of my make or breaks from the last one. Gintama's not in here, and Suna ain't in here. But to be fair, Suna has been relevant in like half the last decade. So like, you know, his show ended like what, in 2014, something like that. Not even the show, the manga. But yet Bleach is in here. Fuck you, Bleach! No.
Yeah, no, you're saying this. It's like, apparently Light's a fucking character in this.
Yeah, but he's not playable. I know that for a fact.
Still, he's in it.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I like the fact that JoJo put Jotaro in this one, because in the last one they had Joseph, I think. I think they had Joseph, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure they had Jonathan too, but they didn't have Jotaro. But they have
Also, Nate, of course he isn't a fucking playable character. He just walks out onto stage. What's your name?
What's your name? Okay.
1 second.
Time to end your
Just 1
storyline.
second. Let me get ready.
I mean, I see that's the thing. So the weirdest thing about this was a nominee for best fighting game, right? And I'm looking at the reviews across the boards. This got a 7. Metacritic gave the PC, PS4, and Xbox One versions somewhere between a 60 and a 50. So like, I think I'm sitting here and I'm like, how I get that there wasn't a lot of fighting games that came out like in the last year. I get it. I do, but I don't know. There has to have been something, right? Something that wasn't in my radar, or some I don't know. It just I mean, still Smash won, right? Like at the end of the day, didn't Smash win? Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Showdown, Dead or Alive 6, each one of those games I can super see why they're in fighting game. Jump Force is one of those ones that I'm just like, I'm surprised, but like I haven't played it. I don't know. Maybe it is really good. Or maybe they ran out of picks. I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like games like Jump Force that have like just a bunch of different characters from a bunch of different anime and shit. It's fun because I can't remember the name of it, but I do have like a game that's like that on my PlayStation 4 because it was like free. And it's the other reason I have it. And it's like those games are fun and everything, but it's like, how do you balance out all these like, because not all these characters are absurdly broken like some other anime characters.
Yeah.
The balancing for them is just weird because they have to kind of limit them to their own skill set that way within their own universe, but they're going against other characters that have way better powers than them.
Yeah, which is why characters like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh fucking make no sense.
Well, I mean, Oceano said that what happens is Yugi uses Dark Magician to fight, and Kaiba uses Blue Eyes White Dragon. So, like, I
would argue that Yugi could fight. I would argue that motherfucker could use his fucking Pharaoh powers to just mind break people. And Kaiba can just throw cards at you for like an eternity.
I am surprised. I am genuinely surprised at like
look at all this money I could throw away.
I am genuinely surprised that City Hunter has like gotten into the game. But like that's the thing, you know, like I feel like if this was a few years back when I was super into a lot of the shonen stuff, I totally would have picked up a copy of this game. No, I wouldn't have, because Suna's not in it.
Never mind.
Never fucking mind.
I hate saying it like that, but like I'm looking at this roster and I'm like, I don't think there is like one singular character that could make me get this game. Because let me put it this way.
How much is Jump Force still?
Jump Force? It's probably on sale nowadays. Like it's been out since since February, so it has to be like on sale or something.
One way to find out.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know. I guess it's just like I said, I could see why. Like and
what?
What?
In Australian money, it is $80, and that's not even including all the DLC.
Well, I mean,
which ranges from $40 to $5.
To be fair, a lot of times these anime games won't go down in price because it's the novelty of it.
Yeah.
So
games like Danganronpa are still expensive because
I got those motherfuckers on sale.
Yeah, they just don't go down a whole bunch. I mean, they'll drop down to like 40, 30.
$80 though.
Yeah.
For a novelty like anime game, I'm only gonna play like 5 times collectively.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So do you think we're all done in the Game Awards section of our cast?
Yeah, it's more of us just being surprised than anything else.
All right. So the Game Awards were super cool this year. I know that a lot of people didn't like them, but I thought it was really neat to see Green Day. And I know maybe it's a shitty way to have my bias in the matter, but I do think that for what it was worth, it was great and it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. While it's not a game that I personally played, it was really great to see Hideo Kojima fucking get the Best Directed award after all that shit that Konami put him through for years. And it was like it was a great moment, and it was also awesome to see Reggie on stage. If you guys haven't actually watched it, or if like, I definitely recommend at least like putting it on. Maybe if it's on the background, like, it was a very well done setup. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the next subject for the night, which is fighting games and what has been going on in the last few years. So fuck, where do we begin? There is a lot of different ways that fighting games have kind of changed over the last few years. Especially like with the one that's on screen right now. If you notice, I actually picked an image that was very specific, because it's like, look, there's Ruby, there's Under Night and Birth, there's Persona, and then like cropped out on purpose almost was
crop out Ragna.
Was Ragna and Jin, the guys who are like, it's called Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, not Ruby Cross Tag Battle.
Yeah, but Ruby though.
To be fair, Ruby like. I've already
Their
told.
characters are still broken.
Yeah, but they're good. They're so fucking good. Like,
they are good because they're broken.
But they're also
and they haven't fixed them.
No, but Nate, I mean, I don't think that. Okay, so I think it's this, right? So, Blaze Blue, Persona 4, like, before we even get into the main subject, let's fucking break this one down. Blaze Blue, Persona 4, Unibel all came from pre-existing stuff, which means their movesets and how they perform are at fixed intervals, because whoever plays it would be like, well, hey, why doesn't you feel the way he does? They still have to have some semblance of how they used to play, but the fighting game is all weird, right? Because you have you have lights, heavies, or lights, mediums. You have the weird tag battle move, and then like you have heavies on like the bottom for some reason. But the point is that like, it's not designed to be like, ironically, Blaze Blue. The way that the buttons are configured, it almost makes me feel more like Ep54. But the point is that they had to purposely create Ruby and Weiss and all those characters from hand, and so obviously they fit more towards the combat system that's implemented in the game. So the other characters have the horrible disadvantage of being,
older.
Well, yeah, but like just being balanced from an outside game. It's like one of the things that Mugen always like had issues with when people were trying to like create like when people would get like rosters of characters. It's hard to balance a bunch of different characters from a bunch of different things because the parameters are very different. That being said, though, fighting games has done a very interesting thing in the last couple of years that I've noticed, and it's mainly because I date someone who isn't really into fighting games. And so Sora and I used to play these games all the time together. We'd go into his basement, get drunk, play Marvel vs. Capcom, or like Blaze Blue or Unibel. And for like a while now, he's been telling me he wants to play Unibel. And I definitely want to. I need to get that game so that we can play. But the reason I kind of want to talk about it is because over Thanksgiving break a couple weeks back, I had picked up, because they had an early Black Friday sale on the Switch for some anime wee bullshit, and I picked up Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 and My Hero Academia's All for One, or whatever. One Justice. And while I'm not a big fan of My Hero Academia, not that I don't like it, it's just I haven't caught up to it. Well, I'm not the biggest, like, ever the most avid fan of My Hero. I still think it's cool. I still think the characters are interesting. So I played both of those games, and something that I kind of realized, like, mind you, these games have been out for some time. Like, these aren't brand new games, like, especially Ultimate Ninja Storm fucking 3 that came out, like, in 2013, 2014. But something that in the last decade has happened is fighting games are starting to understand, at least these, like, anime ones, these hyper fighters are starting to understand that not everyone is, like, willing to go through the motions to learn every fucking thing that goes into learning fighting games. And it became super prevalent to me when Terry was announced for Smash Brothers, and you had a whole legion of people who didn't like the minute that the concept of the half circle forward motion, like, they're like, what the fuck is that? Or like, what the fuck is like? What do you mean a Hadouken? Like, what do you mean like a down forward, or like things that are pretty basic into like, or pretty basic for standard fighting game stuff. Like those are the main ideas. No matter what fighting game you play, most of the time they will have down forwards. They will have half circle forwards. These are just like universal signs in fighting games to kind of perform the command to do the action you want. For example, Ragnar the Blood Edge, a character who's been purposely cropped out here, has tons of down forwards and down backs, right? So like his down back, he lunges forward. His down forward square, he summons a little death spike. He has tons of moves. Ragnar has a shit ton of moves, and like each one of these specials is normally like used in and woven into a basic combo. So like, you could perform like go to lights, mediums, heavies, and then use specials to kind of weave them together. But some people don't want to learn that. There's a whole like, it's really alienating. And it's something that I guess I never really thought about, because unless you're willing to sit down and put the time in and learn this stuff, like it's not going to happen. It's something that I super noticed when I was playing fighting games with Tabby. Like, I'd get her to learn a couple things, but then eventually it all kind of falls out because we don't play it often enough, One of the reasons Sora and I picked up so much shit is because we were always playing fighting games. Every time we'd hang out, every time we'd meet up, we'd be playing either BlazBlue, we'd be playing P4 Arena, we'd playing Unibel, Street Fighter, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, we would always be playing something. So these things, these motions, stayed in our minds, and they're now muscle memories, So when you do have an audience and you do have people who might not necessarily want to learn how to play the games in those ways, that's when you start implementing things like, simple mode, or not simple mode. It's I don't want to call it that, but that's actually the term I think I saw, was like there is a in My Hero they use normal and advanced or tactical or whatever manual mode. And so the idea is that like now games will have an auto and a manual, in which like when you do the attacks, it's like if you keep pushing square instead of doing like the motions and doing all the commands, it sets you on a track. So like you'll be doing a full combo, and in Persona 4 Arena, when you're on that track, you'll end with a finisher. Now they balanced it out by saying, well, hey, if you do it this way and you don't put in the right commands, or if you don't do it manually, it'll do less damage. So there is an incentive to learn more about your character. It's a very well done way to do that. In BlazBlue, the style used to be called stylish, and so the idea is that maybe you didn't 100% know a character, but or maybe you weren't even really into fighting games, but you wanted to see cool shit happen. So Square would have its own combo, Triangle has its own combo, and O has its own combo, with X, I think, even having its own combo, and each one of them still ends with a finisher. And while some people like, I admittedly think it's kind of like, it's weird. My opinion on it changed. If you had asked me 5 years ago what I thought about it, I'm like, well, that's dumb. But now I get it. I see why they have to do it, because how else you can't just make these games and just expect people to learn them on
only
the spot.
People that you can't expect just people that are only into fighting games to play it.
Right. So like, so the biggest example of this was the Naruto game, Ultimate Ninja Storm, the Ultimate Ninja Storm series, right? So
yeah,
or just Naruto games in general. They're pretty basic. So with the Storm series, you have something that you can throw, so shurikens. You have chakra on triangle, which it lets you like charge up. Your O button is melee, so that like when you're close enough, you can just punch them and do combos and stuff. And then X is to jump. But then it's a pretty simple setup, right? You want to try to like gauge out your opponent, so like the opponent and you will clash, right? Just like in the show, you clash with each other, and then like you fight for a bit, and then you step back out, and then you clash again.
Yeah, it's like,
And I'm very tempted to play the Ultimate Ninja Storm series on the show, because I think that'd just be really, really fun to show you, because I think it's really well built. It's not a 2D fighter. It's not something in which, like, it's not a standard fighting game. The job of that game is to emulate anime fighting. And so when you have that, like, as like, you want to be able to make it look cool and feel good. So you can't just expect people to do quarter circles and shit, because why would they? So
yeah, I know. Like,
kids
I've
have
been,
to be able to play the game.
I've been trying to learn quarter circle still.
And it's okay. That stuff takes time. That takes practice. I can't tell you how many hours I spent in training rooms, especially when Continuum Shift Extend came out, and I was just trying to learn Relius Clover. Relius isn't my playing style, but I learned and I adapted and I tried to make combos, and I looked up stuff online on how to make them work. And like, it takes time. You have to have a drive to want to do it. And if you don't have that drive, you're just going to drop it and you're never going to pick it up again. So, like, to me, it's a really, really smart move on the fighting game communities. And I know, like, because a couple years ago, I'd be a shitlord and say, oh, well, just make them learn. No, they're not going to pick it up that way, because why would anyone pick it up that way? If I was told, oh, Mitchell, do you want to play fucking StarCraft? And I'd be like, well, I'm not really good at it. Well, come on, man. It's really easy. And then I go in there and it's like, come on, Mitchell, do these commands. Like, well, fuck. I would never play StarCraft again, because I'd have such a bad experience. Yeah. And we can't, as a fighting game community, we can't expect these people to fucking come in, learn this shit. No one wants to be babied or any of that kind of crap. You have to you have to kind of give them a little bit of, like, leeway. The community has to change. And I think it is changing, and I think it's for the better. The Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series is a very good example of a way that you can make it change in the sense of, like, from its own standpoint of, like, well, we'll just, the gameplay mechanics are completely different. Because I know that there's people who want, like, a 2D Naruto game, right? They want, like, the Ultimate Ninja games, not Storm, but the Ultimate Ninja games. And even then, those games didn't even play like standard fighting games. But, like, you can't, like, it serves a different purpose. So, like, when you can make a really good simplistic fighting game, but, like, it also has a shit ton of complexities to it. I play Ultimate Ninja on, like, the ultimate difficulty I can play that on, because, one, the computers in that game admittedly aren't the strongest, and two...
Yeah, because it's like an anime game, and they have to kind of simplify it so people besides people that are into fighting games will actually play it.
Yeah, and there's like a shit ton of characters in that game. But two, so, like, I explained all that stuff, right? Chakra, throwing, melee, and jumping, right? So But here's the deal.
Basic.
You push triangle. Triangle is like unlocking, like, a second move list. So if you throw like, let's say Naruto, right? He throws a shuriken. So if you hit triangle and then push square, like, then you're using chakra to either throw a, like, faster, more powerful shuriken, or you're throwing a completely different item. For some characters, they're throwing, like, Fuma shurikens. For some characters, they're throwing, like, fire daggers and shit. And then same thing. Triangle O on the characters will do a jutsu. So instead of doing, like, down forwards or quarter circles, you're doing, like, it's a button-based system. And I think the button-based system super works for that game. So, like, it's
just the funny thing that it's, like, reminding me of is, like, the building up of your abilities, like, with the ninja with like in Final Fantasy, like 14 Online. It's like the ability build up, so you can do, like, more powerful hits.
Oh yeah.
So like Insane Oddball is saying Mitch is a dirty Sasuke main.
No. Yes, maybe. No. Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 Sasuke. So, like, Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, his ultimate version in that game, because that was where the anime was he's wearing the Akatsuki coat, and it's so cool. But no, I don't know. I don't know if I think, like, the Reikage is probably my main. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is that those games, like, so, like, you push triangle and O, and now you're performing jutsus. And even then, characters have specific functions with their jutsu. For example, if you're Naruto and you're doing the Rasengan, you don't have to let go of O. You can hold O to charge it and to do more damage. and it'll unlock a second tier of that jutsu. So like, and then on top of that, if you charge up your chakra and you push triangle twice, now you can activate your ult. So like now you can rush the opponent and do an alt move as long as you have the right amount of chakra, and those things take like 30 up to 33% of your health sometimes. Maybe a little less, but it's a good noticeable chunk. So like, I don't know. Those games are like very well built and like have a lot of intricacy going on, while also having like a very simple stuff. So like if you want to because the whole point is that kids can play the game, they can go in.
Yeah, it's like remaining like simplistic, but like complex though if you just like look into it.
Yeah, like if you want to, you can set the difficulty like as high as I do, and you learn stuff. One of my favorite things, if you push L2 on the controller when you're in the middle of a combo, instead of doing like the classic fighting game break, you transport out of there, you substitute out of there and appear behind the opponent. During that window of opportunity, you can charge the opponent and start the combo up, so you can then attack the opponent. But
fucking Christ!
But if the opponent catches it, they can hit triangle X. If they have enough chakra, they can hit. Because that's a whole other thing. That's called chakra charging, where instead of just rushing towards your opponent by holding X and moving somewhere, you can hit triangle and X and then charge right at the opponent, pretty quickly. But like if your opponent like teleports behind you and they're about to start a combo, you can hit triangle X and say "fuck you" and start wailing on them then. So like it's
there's this like nice flow of kind of like being able to break each other's combos.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like it's that, but it's also like, oh fuck, like you have to keep track of how many substitutes you have, because if you enter combat and you only have like, let's say 2 substitutes and he has 4, if it's a skilled player, he'll fucking outmaneuver you. Not only will he outmaneuver you, but he has more substitutes, and if he can just out substitute you or force you to substitute out, it's very hard to then break out of that combo, because there just isn't there isn't wiggle room. Once that combo started and you can't substitute out, it's done. Like you have to go through the whole combo, and then the nice thing is, or I should say, the worst part about it is, Nate, let's say I had full chakra and I have 4 like substitute charges, and you have maybe like 2 substitute charges. We go at it. You hit me first, I sub out, go behind you, and then I start the combo, you sub out, and we do this until I'm the one doing the combo. If I still have chakra, I can reset the combo whenever I want by chakra charging at you. Because chakra charging cancels the combo. So then I can start wailing on you again. So like, let's say I get like 4 hits into a combo, like 1, 2, 3, 4, triangle X, and then like I fucking like smack back into you, 1, 2, 3, 4, triangle X.
It's like, I'm stuck.
And there's nothing.
I can't do shit.
And there's nothing you can do because you don't have substitute charges. You don't have enough chakra to chakra charge at me again. The only thing you can do is, if I chakra charge at you, is you can guard. But in the Ultimate Ninja games, there's only so much you can do before a guard break. So that
and you know my fighting style, I don't freaking guard.
Well, that's the thing. You can play this game and not guard, and still do really well, because it's all about reaction. The whole game is about reaction. And in Ultimate Ninja 4, they made it so that you can have tag team. On Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, they made it so that you can swap out between your teammates. So let's say you're playing a character who's long range, right? You're playing a character who's long range, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of a combo, you can switch out into a character who's close range and start wailing on them, and then switch out into your other partner and start wailing on them. You share 1 health bar and your resources, but like you have the ability to switch your movesets and stuff. Anyways, I went on a tangent.
So if you know how to so it's like you know how to implement them both, like that, it's like you're doing pretty solid then.
Yeah. So despite a very simple setup, the complexities of the game make it something that's viable to me, like as a very elaborate fighting game. Especially when you start because not only can you switch out between those characters, you can also summon them to perform their jutsu and have them like set up combos. So for example, set someone up and know that it takes some time for them to charge, because then the opponent's going to hit you and start his combo up, and then from the left field comes Sasuke with like a Chidori or something, you know, or like have like someone whose jutsu might take a second and it launches, and when it launches, that's when, you know, like they'll like there's interesting ways that the game becomes very complex despite its initial very simplistic setup. So, and I think that with the fighting game community kind of going into that direction, where like this last decade, it feels like a lot of games are kind of doing that, where you have auto combos now in games. You have a lot of like, you have different setups and stuff. I think even as much as I don't play Fighter Z, like I have a copy of Fighter Z, but like I don't play it often. I think even Fighter Z has some level of like auto combo a little bit. But like, I think it's really good for the community, because there's a lot of people who want to get into these games, even on just a casual level, and this is a good way for them to get in, you know. And I know that people like past Mitchell and, you know, the fighting game community might say some bad stuff about it, but like, you know,
it's even just like a good place to just start. Like, so say it's like you're a person. I'll use myself as an example. I only really started playing fighting games like last year because I never thought I'd be good at fighting games, and I'm still kind of not. But they're fun, and that's all I really want from a video game. That's how you should feel when you play a video game. It should just be fun to play. And it's like, I am not good at fighting games. Not even fucking close. Do I have fun whilst playing them? Fuck yeah, I do. It's like, yeah, I played it on the easy, like with like the movesets and everything. It's how I learn. I have like just a very stupid way of learning things just in general. It's like, because I'm just a person that teaches myself nearly everything that I do. So like I'll look at the moveset. Like I won't necessarily like remember everything, but it's like I'll get like a general idea of the moves that I'm most likely going to use for like my type of play style, because I have a very, I don't know. Anyways, so like look up the general moves that I need, and then just build off of there. It's like, okay, so I've gotten pretty good at like these moves. This one I need to work on a little bit more. But because I learned these moves, I can learn the more complex version of those moves and then just go from there. Because I don't put myself on easy mode first. I go to the harder shit first. Because when you learn the harder shit first, the easier stuff, like the simpler stuff, is easier. It's a very weird way of learning, but when it comes to fighting games, that's how I learn different movesets. And if it's like a new character that I didn't have time to look at the moveset or anything, then most fighting games have either like similar, especially like cross tag, there's similar just movesets for each character, like with which buttons you need to press and shit. So I don't know. It is a learning curve, learning fighting games, but it's fun, and that's all I could care. Because I only really started playing fighting games because I became friends with Mitch. So, because I never thought I'd be good at fighting games ever, or ever play them. Because I was that person that's just like, I'm just gonna stay in my lane when it comes to video games, and I just immediately thought I'd suck at fighting games. I'm not bad, I'm not great either. I'm not bad.
Well, that being said, I tend to kind of the tangent here. I guess it would just be this. It's, you know, it's a good spot where the fighting game community is right now. And I really hope that they make more. To be honest with you, I want more Ultimate Ninja games, and I don't mean specifically Naruto. I mean fighting games that are willing to try something different and to try something new. The problem is I say that and then I never hear about it. I'm sure there are games that try something different and new, but
it's just that they don't get a lot of exposure, and then they go under your radar until you find them like years later, and you're just like, ah, fuck.
Wow, there's no community for this anymore.
What the fuck? Goddamn.
So, anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap today's episode up here, and make sure you all like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. I know most people who listen to the cast though are already fans, so I just want to thank you for your continued views and stuff like that. And hey, once again, if there's any games you want to see played on the show, leave it down in the comments section below. We do like look over those and see what's up. And just make sure you guys keep it real. We'll catch you guys throughout the week. So yeah, later, guys.
Later.
Later.